Hey, this is Wrench with another car video. So today I have my 2008 Mustang GT convertible. It's my daily driver and we're having a problem with the clutch. Take a look. So I've been having problems disengaging the clutch. I push it all the way to the floor and the car is still obviously not disengaged and I can't shift the gears. So I thought we'd come down here and check this out. So I've already taken a look at it, and what it is the clutch pedal. This shaft right here that welds into the clutch pedal has literally come loose, and I'm going to have to take it apart to weld it back on. Now, there's a fastener here in the end that I could probably pull out and pull the pin out of this, but it looks to me like it's going to be easier just to remove the bolt there on the top and the bolts there in the back and just take the whole sector out and then weld it. So that's what I'm going to try. Work on this, I started with the seat all the way back and leaning back, but I've come up with the way I can put my creeper on a couple of buckets and just sit there on it. That seems to be a way easier way to work on it than anything else I've come up with. So now I've got these items off. That green thing is the cover for the brake cylinder pin. That little bail is for a connector on top. That little clip is for the actual clutch pedal thing, and that little green thing goes in the pin for the brake brake vacuum booster. Here we are under the hood. First, I need to show you we can move the air conditioner dryer by pulling these two screws here, which I've already loosened, and then it's flexible enough that it can just sit its way up there. I'm going to put the screws there. And then to get the hose out of the clutch master cylinder, I'm going to put the screwdriver under this little wire bail. I don't know if you can see that. And I don't want to lose it, so pull it out just enough to get that out. Did you see that? I'm not sure. Set it. Then it'll just come straight out. FYI, I started turning the bolts with a ratchet wrench, and I am now with an air wrench because it's a lot of bolts to turn. Okay, so I've removed the whole clutch sector. Seemed like it was the best way to get things out. There's pretty much no way I could have gotten that pin out. This is the biggest headache. The clutch master cylinder is based on here, and there's pretty much no way you can get to this second bolt. So I had to take that part off. Now we're going to go see about welding. I tend to prep it for welding by removing the old weld as much as I can, maybe even putting a little bit of a chamfer in there, and then I'll clean up the pin this side as best as I can. I'm not a professional welder or anything. I just have this little Harbor Freight welder. It's a flux core wire feed, and so what I've done here is first I ground off the weld and put a nice fill it all the way around on that side. On this side, I can't really reach all the way around, so I'm going to be protected all the plastic on the part with aluminum foil, and I welded and ground a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and try to weld in the pits that I missed right now. Notice I protect myself when I'm sitting Indian style on the floor. That way you don't have burned socks with holes in the front. Well, I've ground it and painted it. Yeah, I'm not the best welder, but a little grind and paint makes me the welder I ain't. I think it'll hold now. Do one last check to see if I got everything hooked up. I got all the bolts around the brake thing. I got the yellow thing on the thing. I have the switches all plugged in. I have the the master cylinder hooked in. Looks like this is all ready to go inside. Okay, so it's time to bleed this master cylinder, and what I've come up with is this is the reservoir off my my vacuum brake bleeders. It's a Chinese cheap tool, and I hooked that through a hose to the input line for the clutch master cylinder, and I think if I pump the brakes slow, it's going to use that fluid, and the bubbles are going to come out. We'll try and see. Okay, so I'm about 20 pumps in. I'm starting to feel the clutch. The bubbles are clearly working their way out, so This is doing what I think it should. Now I have to carefully switch from the brake bleeder reservoir, which I'm just using. I'm not using the bleeder itself, by the way. I'm just using the reservoir. And it's mounted just here in a 5-gallon bucket, no biggie. So I'm going to have to get some fluid into the main reservoir and get the tube switched over, and then I'll be done with the job. My 2008 GT calls for .3, so that's what I've got here. I'm just going to fill the reservoir to the top, and hopefully that'll be good. I've already tightened the screws on the air conditioner dryer, and so that's that part done. Just filled the reservoir, but I noticed I didn't have this clamp tight, so this is how I would do this clamp with a vice grip. This kind of point kind. So there we go, it's in place. So I closed the hood after that, and I've been driving it to work for a couple of days, and no problems with the clutch. It's just much better. If you have this problem, I hope you can solve it as easily as me. It took me about 4 or 5 hours, longer than I expected, but maybe I was interrupted a bit too.